What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Homie Hangout, where we help others move in excellence. And a bit of bad news today, man. NFL great Marshawn Lynch has been arrested for DUI in Las Vegas. They said about 7:30 this morning, he was cruising around, he was hitting curbs, so they blurped him, and he didn't submit to a breathalyzer. But they took him down to the city jail. They drew blood. He was drunk. Um, and they've since cut him loose, but they released his mugshot. Not sure, not sure what his bail was, but this is not Marshawn Lynch's first time getting caught for DUI. Some years back, he got busted in Oakland, blew over .08 legal limit, and so he was arrested for DUI there, which is where he's from. But they wound up, he dropped it down to a wet and reckless when he went to court, which is not necessarily uncommon for a first DUI, and especially if you're barely over the limit and there's no injury. I got arrested for DUI, pulling into East Palo Alto years back, and pled out to a wet and reckless. Right, still lost my license for a little bit, um, but that was it. And so, anyways, for those not really familiar with who Marshawn Lynch is, one of the greatest running backs of all time. He comes up out of Oakland, right, North Oakland, and he played for the Seattle Seahawks for many years. Won a championship with them, won rushing titles with them, and then he played for the Bills, but nobody remembers that really. And he played for the Raiders, right, his hometown team, his favorite team. And so, yeah, he's got like over 10,000 yards rushing. He's very accomplished. But one thing about Marshawn Lynch is he's never really been too keen on the media. And he doesn't really, historically, he seems to not really care about scrutiny because he's been caught on video turning up wild in Oakland, right? Everybody knew he smoked weed. He's got his own style. He is Oakland to the bone, right? and and unapologetically, right, was a very professional football player, very focused. He handled his business on the field. His teammates loved him, uh, but off the field, he lived his life. He lives his life kind of how he wants to, and that's something I respected and appreciated about him. Like this dude don't give zero fucks, right? And but because he was always like, it was always joy. You know what I'm saying? He seemed always just to be living in a moment and having fun, right? And that's nice to see from somebody that's high profile and a celebrity, right? That they're still out there rubbing shoulders with the people and having a blast. When he's asked about that kind of stuff, he just kind of shrugs it off, like, yeah, so what? Um, but getting busted for DUI is different, right? Because this is not just having fun. This now you're breaking the law, right? And not that I haven't broken the law. So this is not like a respect all laws type deal, but it's just looked at differently. It's one thing to be out the club going dumb with your folks. It's another one to be hitting curbs, shit faced in Vegas, right? Uh, and so yeah, we'll see what happens. The dude ain't gonna go to jail or nothing. He's gonna have to pay a fine, right? Like there's not gonna be any real serious consequence, but all that could have been avoided, man. I mean, he's Marshawn Lynch, right? He has resources. He could have got a ride. He could have done a lot of things different. He could have had the same amount of fun that night, right? And did everything the same except drive off at 7:30 in the morning, right? And who knows the circumstances? Um, but but under any circumstances, man, you got to be able to protect yourself, take care of yourself, and it the funness of a night kind of goes out the window when you wake up in jail, right? And you can see by his mugshot, I don't think it's the most flattering mugshot, but that's not his normal look, right? He was bent by the picture, and so yeah, thankfully he's okay. Thankfully everybody else is okay, right? Nobody got hurt. This is not a DUI crash. Um, he messed up the car a little bit, but like I said, the dude's got plenty of resources. He owns some other like some other teams in Oakland that play. I think it's the Panthers. He has different business ventures. And along with this fun, happy-go thing, man, he's always looked out for Oakland and in particular youngsters in Oakland. He's big on charity, man. He's big on giving back, right? He's just not big on being in the limelight everywhere else. He plays by his own rules. But this time, he got caught slipping, man, and so that's it. Marshawn Lynch is arrested, um, and released from Las Vegas City Jail for DUI. It's his second DUI. The first one he pled out to wet and reckless in Oakland. Um, this one we'll see, right? Maybe he's able to plead this out to a reckless driving too. Who knows? But it's also there's a thing, everybody thinks that celebrities get all this favor, right? And I think in large part they do, uh, but not necessarily messing with cops, right? And and so you you're popped, man, right? And so that's unfortunate, and it's a trip because he got the DUI in Oakland where he's from. Now he gets the DUI in Vegas where the Raiders are at. Um, it's like he's in backyards. I mean, he didn't play, over there in Vegas, but um, it's like he's getting caught up in the backyard of the Raiders, wherever that backyard is. And so, nonetheless, man, help others move with excellence. That's what homies do. Help yourself at the same time because you're worth it, and help your community because they need you. And don't drink and drive, people. Just don't, right? It's not a good look, and it could get worse.